so many idiots around here. I had to go through this constant fucking bullshit from these dickheads in these small towns. And this seems to be constantly repeating itself. Indeed, these small Wiltshire towns are inhabited by absolute idiots. It's interesting to consider that Wiltshire, as a whole, is one of the biggest paedophile rings in the world. So, if you look at the percentages, it's probably about 30% of the population of Wiltshire that are involved in the British police paedophile ring. So that's a large percentage. So it's all very interesting to consider that all these wannabe gangsters that are giving me trouble all the time are themselves into 9-year-old girls. So it's all very interesting to consider the social hierarchy in Wiltshire is run by child rapists. So it's all very interesting to consider, really, indeed. What exactly is going on in Wiltshire? Even lower level operatives of British intelligence are beginning to ask, what on earth is going on in Wiltshire? This is the thing, my revelations regarding Devizes police have caused chaos over the years and brought me incredible amounts of persecution from Devizes residents who want to protect the police for some reason. Indeed, all of the local supposed gangsters in Devizes were ganging up on me to protect their local constabulary, which I found immensely funny, but also very irritating. So it's interesting to consider the lengths that certain percentages of the public will go to protect the reputation of a paedophile police force. So it's all very interesting to consider the lengths that at least 30% of Wiltshire are going to attempt to end my schizophrenic video diary. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. What is the strategy of the British police in terms of silencing criticism? Indeed, as we have seen, one of the strategies of the British police for silencing criticism is Stasi-style techniques, i.e. Zezetsung, involving defamation of character and false information placed about the target in the minds of the population. And the other technique that I personally very heavily experienced is radiation. Indeed, as I stated, I believe that the radiation against me was coordinated by Melksham Police's Research and Development branch. But the authorization was given to them by two Devizes policemen, Jerome Butler and Stephen Nash, who are initiates of Moonraker Lodge number 8747. So basically, a lot of the targeting of me has been part of a Masonic agenda to attempt to have revenge on me for my exposures of Grenville Lodge all those years ago. So it's all very interesting to note that the Masons are out for revenge. Indeed, the Warminster Masons of Wyvern Lodge number 8620 have issued a declaration of war against me. So I'm expecting to experience heavy targeting from the Wyvern Lodge Masonic networks, which speaks volumes about some of the treatment I've been receiving from the local population. Indeed, I'm expecting another series of gang stalking networks to appear again. I haven't seen any real gang stalking networks for, it would be 4 weeks now. It was 4 weeks ago that I experienced heavy gang stalking for 3 days. However, I'm expecting it to begin again. Indeed, despite the beaming of the radiation having ended, the remote neural monitoring is still continuing, as is the voice to skull. Indeed, there are still intelligence operatives inhabiting and infesting my brain, attempting to unleash techno demons into my mind, which is all very irritating indeed. This is part of a Masonic trajectory by Kabbalist tendencies, so it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, I was thinking on the topics of mind controlled assassins and the activities of the intelligence agencies and police branches in basically creating murderers out of paranoid schizophrenics and also creating serial killers from vulnerable mental patients, etc. Indeed, the Southport stabber, I can't remember his name right now, he was a mind controlled assassin, and that's very obvious by his eyes. Indeed, human beings don't naturally get the urges to stab little girls. So, unless you're a Freemason, indeed, the only people who really have these urges are Masonic people and Nazi Satanists. So it's interesting to consider that this guy suddenly went crazy and stabbed a load of little girls. So it was obviously part of an intelligence agenda, and he'd obviously been under behavior modification programs. Also, the fact that he was visualized in a Children in Need advert makes me believe that he was being sexually abused by the British paedophile circuit from a young age. So it's interesting to consider that the Southport stabber then became a mind-controlled assassin, which means he was basically always under the control of the British intelligence services and underwent a lot of mind control programming through the behavior modification programs, i.e. Project Mindgate. The Mindgate program, which is the British MI6 mind control program network, indeed. I'm not entirely sure what agenda the Southport stabbing served, apart from to create a larger dialectic within the British population. Indeed, the creation of the left-right dialectic in the British population serves to divide the communities against each other so that no one will rise up against the police. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, the Southport stabber was almost certainly a mind-controlled assassin, i.e. a Manchurian candidate. So basically he'd been programmed in Nazi-style behavior modification mind control programming and then went ahead and did what he did, which isn't a natural thing to do. You don't naturally want to kill little girls. And this guy suddenly apparently had the urge to kill a load of little girls. I'm not buying that at all. Indeed, this is the same concept as the majority of serial killers in the United States. I do not believe that these mental patient types would suddenly have the urge to have sex with a skull. I do not believe this. The only people who have urges to have sex with skulls are Freemasons and Nazi Satanists. So I don't believe that all of these serial killers that popped out of nowhere in the 60s and 70s were genuinely fetishists for the behaviors that we are told they are. This is all it it's all a product of mind control programming coordinated by Nazi psychiatrists. It's interesting to note that the Nazi psychiatrists and programmers in the Second World War basically deciphered much of the human brain, and this mind control technology was utilized in the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union, and later Russia after the Second World War. Indeed, the saga regarding the serial killers in the United States that popped out of nowhere in the 60s and 70s, and the proliferation of maniacs in the Soviet Union that occurred at basically the same time and continued into the era of the Russian Federation. These were all victims of mind control programming by Nazi behavioral scientists and psychiatric programmers. So it's interesting to note the fact that the Nazi intelligence services, i.e. the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, embedded themselves within the Western and Soviet intelligence structures and were basically able to really sink their teeth into their behavior modification experimentation on vulnerable mental patients. Indeed, the targets of mind control, manipulation, experimentation, and behavior modification schemes always seem to be mental patients. And I have been through this myself firsthand. I've been mind control programmed by both British and Russian intelligence over the years. But I believe that the majority of my programmers were themselves interconnected with the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst networks. So I was basically a project of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. In a very similar fashion to various serial killers and maniacs. And indeed, I've referenced the Southport stabber as being a victim of behavior modification programs. Indeed, this will not be a popular opinion amongst the British population, but it's interesting to consider that the majority of the British population, especially in these small towns, all believe everything the government tells them. So it's all very interesting to consider this. Indeed, it's actually really quite worrying, the British population. Indeed, this is why the majority of my conspiracy influences are US based. It's actually a myth that Americans are really stupid. Indeed, that's just a portrayal put out by the media. The American population, on the whole, is far more intelligent than the population of the United Kingdom. It's all very interesting to note that. So, as I was stating, I do not believe that people possess these natural urges, for instance, to kill little girls or to have sex with skulls or corpses. The only people that do possess these urges are either seriously dysfunctional or they are Freemasons. Indeed, Freemasons tend to simply have these urges because they're just really sick people. Nazi Satanists also, but the Nazi Satanists, despite claiming to be against Freemasonry, are themselves Masons, which is interesting indeed. I was also thinking about the fact that the Nazi networks always blame everything on the Hebrews. Indeed, there are a lot of Hebrews involved in the networks running the agenda. However, they are not solely responsible for all the ills of the world. They are scapegoated by Nazi networks to cover up for the Masonic crimes. Indeed, it's all very interesting to note that the Nazis were all Masons and carried out a false flag persecution of certain lodges. This was all a false flag. Indeed, the Nazis were themselves Masons. They were part of German Masonic orders. Indeed, German Masonic orders that I've explained planned the current situation in the United Kingdom in the 1750s via networks of psychiatrists, interestingly. Indeed, the original planners of this New World Order agenda, I don't particularly like that term, but the agenda that is taking place, and I like to try and stay as local to the United Kingdom as possible when analysing these things. The people that planned this were a network of German psychiatrists in the 1750s through a secretive consortium known as the Mad Housekeepers Guild. Indeed, they were utilising their techniques that they used on mental patients in their asylum laboratories, basically, and were basically creating a concept whereby they would use the techniques they use on their mental patients on the whole of the population. So it's all very interesting to note that. Indeed, it's all very interesting, as I've stated before, the rape gang phenomenon in the United Kingdom, where young white girls are brutalized by males of Middle Eastern and Indian subcontinent origin. This is all part of a Masonic ritual. And basically, the psychocracy is attempting to create the conditions whereby a form of INGSOC, i.e. English socialism, which will have a fascist element to it, can be introduced. And therefore, the dystopia that the Illuminati networks wish to create can be created. Indeed, this will lead to the erection of a police state, which the police want because the police are worried about their ritual child abuse rings being exposed, and therefore they could be at risk from the population. And indeed, a new secret police is going to be introduced into the United Kingdom. It will basically be a synthesis of the Gestapo, the Stasi, and the KGB. Indeed, it will be an interlinking network that will be part secret police and part security services. Indeed, it will basically be an MI5 hybrid with the powers of arrest, somewhat similar to an FBI style organization, but more secretive. So it's all very interesting to consider what is going to come down in the United Kingdom. It's interesting to note that for my exposures of Devizes Please, large percentages of the Wiltshire population absolutely despise me. Now, if I'd done that in any other country, people would have been curious. But here, in Wiltshire, everybody hates me for it. So it's very interesting to consider in Wiltshire, we are living in a very heavily police-controlled county. For instance, in Devizes, 94% of the population are outright police confidential informants. So it's all very interesting to consider that. It's all a rather tricky situation for me to be in, because I'm now wanted by several agencies of the British government for exposing Devizes police and the Devizes population. Indeed, it seems to be causing these agencies of the government more concern that I've exposed the child rapist networks within the Devizes population than my original exposures of Devizes police. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, it's all very strange to consider. Also, several foreign agencies would like to approach me for some reason. However, I'd be very cautious of getting involved with foreign agencies, because they would be tricking me, and this would also lead me into espionage charges, whereby I would end up in a mental hospital again. So I won't be speaking to any foreign agencies. Also, I expect they would be tricking me. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, the British authorities are thinking of shutting me down, though shutting me down would only prove that I am telling the truth. Indeed, surely it would be better to allow me to continue with everyone simply thinking I was a madman. It's interesting the amount of effort that the British authorities are going to attempt to shut me down, when they could easily just pass me off as a delusional psychotic. Indeed, I am a delusional psychotic, but the problem is I'm telling the truth. So it's all very interesting. It's the logic that I have gained through being a delusional psychotic which has allowed me to get to this truth, if that makes any sense. Indeed, I'm actually finding life very difficult at the moment because I am very lonely. Indeed, I am experiencing a lot of hostility from the Warminster population, who are unsure what to make of me. That's the thing. I don't think they like mental patients in this town. This seems to be a common theme across Wiltshire. Calne doesn't like mental patients, and Devizes murders mental patients. So it's very interesting indeed. It's not that easy, actually, being a paranoid schizophrenic in modern Britain. Indeed, it's interesting to note that certain Faith of Ishmael populations seem to be aware of the fact that I'm mentally ill and treat me accordingly, whereas the British population of these small towns treats me terribly. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, I don't want to go off on that trajectory too much. Indeed, I am lonely though, but also I am seriously struggling with my mental state. And this video diary is really helping me. This is the thing. This is mental health treatment, making these videos. That's all very interesting to consider, really. Indeed. I'm going to leave it there now. So, thank you.